Welcome back. Let's remove the bookmark and continue our chapter. So, liberators, you have awakened at your times. Duran 4 hours earlier than everybody else, but it's quite early in the morning, about 5 or 6 a.m. Kai has awoken after Duran, but before everyone else, and is doing his stressors. Monako, you awaken. I need you to roll for me a Constitution saving throw.
Plus cows.
Oh, plus cows. Correct. +4. So it's 16.
Okay. All right. So it's 16. And Cal, your aura is always up.
Yeah.
Okay. So you feel better.
Should I roll one as well?
Yes, you have to roll one as well. But Monako, you feel better. The extra aura coming from the envoy of Kelimver, that is Cal, helps you, and whereas before you probably would not feel better, but you were able to stomach it and get up. 24 from Cal. Cal, you feel great. Well, let me rephrase that. You feel a lot better than you did the day before. You still have little pains and aches, and the air is still difficult for you to try to breathe through, but you're an adventurer. You're able to push through it.
I think I can go on.
Same. I feel refreshed after that rest. I needed it, though.
I still can't thank you enough for carrying me all that way, Kai.
Oh, it's no trouble, Monako. Anytime. It's my pleasure. We're gonna get through this together. All of us. I'll make sure of it.
I could see all of you dancing while I was lying down like that. I never got a chance to. And she'll make a light movement, kind of, and stop, embarrassed.
No, don't. Don't stop. Keep going.
She looks at you, smiles, and then gives an honest attempt at a dance. Not quite knowing what to do, but she puts a lot of feeling into it, a lot of what she's got in her soul, attempting to translate the appreciation and kindness, fondness she feels.
All right, roll me a performance check. An 11. So you go ahead and begin starting to do the movement and dance, but you're still a little bit anxious, a little bit shy, restrained, and you don't really feel it out. The stress of everything going on, you're not unable to connect with that energy of love that you felt last time when you first performed the dance to raise the tree, and nothing happens.
You hurt your lungs last night. You must just give yourself a second to warm up. Don't worry. That was beautiful and a great first attempt.
You're so kind, King.
Don't get discouraged on the first try. If we all did that, then none of us would be here.
She smiles at you. Once we get going, maybe blood pumping. I'll give it another try.
Are you gonna? That's a great idea. Do we have time? Can you? I don't want to sound spoiled, but I would love to have some more of your breakfast. Or cooking, rather.
Of course. I can get a fire going in here.
Kai, do we have time? I can help speed it up, and then I will move my hands around and then rekindle the fire with prestidigitation, as I can create a small campfire easily.
Kai, actually, because the things that you would use to burn the flame has gone out, and Kai puts down some tinder and things, and says, "Yeah, we can stay for a little bit. Let's not stay too long, maybe an hour, and then we have to head. The weather's not on our side." And he looks out the cave, and you look too, and you see it's winter storm happening out there. The wind is blowing. You hear the howling of the wind. You see the icicles falling down, crackling across the snow-touched stone ground. But nevertheless, you turn on the fires, and Monako, you take out your utensils and the bit of meat and other objects that you have that are in the portable hole, stayed fresh, and start to cup up a small breakfast.
She'll sing as she does so, trying in her heart to pour love into the meal, although she doesn't dance.
DM,
Yes.
is there anything that looks worthy of investigating in this cave/area, basically, before we head out?
You can roll me a quick investigation check while she's preparing the meal. 25. You look around the cave, and you see your reflection off of the obsidian glass-like walls, but nothing else seems very worth your while.
Can I check out this reflection thing and see if there's anything special about it?
You look at it, you just see yourself. Nothing magical coming off of it, other than just the normal amount of magic you feel that was coming from this entire mountain.
Kind of looks at himself for a little bit, and then turns around and gets back with the group.
All right. So Some time passes, Monaco. You complete your meal. Roll me a performance check. See how well your meal is. An 18. The smell of the food is delicious, and it pulls you all towards it. So whatever you were doing, you immediately stop and head on over to the flint fire where Monaco is plating a delicious meal. Kai, who was training, immediately stops and heads on over as well. It smells great. Thank you, Monaco.
It's the least I could do.
And he goes and starts to eat. As do the rest of you, I'm assuming.
As we're eating, I'm going to say to the group, so I prayed for guidance last night, and I received a bunch of knowledge, and I think that I have a way to help us, but I am unsure of the best path forward. Do we think that the trial is going to be, and I'll gesture towards the mouth of the cave, mainly physical, and should I help us endure the weather outside, or should I try and help steel our minds and increase our resilience internally? I'm not exactly sure what to do, or what would help us most. Kai, do you have any suggestions?
He looks up to you, his mouth full, and takes a big swallow. Well, I'm worried about everyone in the storm out there. Maybe you can bolster up our resilience to the elements, this wind, build up our fortitude?
It doesn't last for very long. It only lasts for an hour, but I think if we get a good head start, that could, boost us up and get us back on track to where we need to be.
If it can only help us for an hour, Duran says to the mouthful of food, maybe what you should do is wait till we're in danger.
I could do that, but we would all need to quickly hold hands, as the spell requires me to have direct contact with those I wish to bestow my blessing upon.
That's true.
Is that something that we can do, or should we just grab those whom I can in the heat of the moment?
Maybe once we get inside the cave.
Are we going to a specific cave? I thought we were just journeying to the top of the mountain.
Kai turns. Correct. We're heading up the mountain. There might be a cave, there might not be. This is all new territory for me. If you want my opinion, if you can see someone about to falter and use it right then, that would be help. But at any moment, you don't know when these winds could pick up, when someone's fortitude will drop.
Okay, then how about I will start out with the day's blessing, and I'll put my hands out, because I'm assuming we're all sitting in a circle together. Mm-hmm. I'll put my food on my lap, and I'll outstretch my hands to the either side to say, can you please just quickly form a circle?
Kai gets up and goes towards a circle.
Minako will join the circle.
Cal as well.
Horatio joins as well.
I will start to chant a prayer of aid and guidance, and every now and again you'll hear him say, and Mylaki's grace, and blanket of Nyx. And after a moment or two, you'll see these vines sort of grow out of Chastifold, which King has next to him, wrap around his arms, and then slowly wrap around and connect all of our hands. And then the vines will bloom, and a pollen glow will envelop all of us. And I will cast aid at a second level and twin it so that way I can hit everybody, and this will increase our maximum HPs by 10 for 8 hours.
So you all receive King's blessing as the leaves and vines come out of Chastful. It's hovering up. It forms around all of your hands, interlocking them on energy, invigorates you all, adding towards your pool of constitution. Taking a deep breath, Kai looks on over to King. Thank you. All right, so are we ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
He takes his scarf and wraps it around his face and starts to walk out. Let's do this. And he pushes through the wind.
I didn't actually have to twin it. It can target up to 3 people, so it was just 2 third level spell casts.
Got it.
And before we actually leave, King will say, after an hour or 2, I will bolster our endurance in this. Come to me if you see my beacon of light. I'll say that before Kai left, and then we can all head out.
All right. So you all head off and begin walking. The storm blowing on you. You're the difference between the cave and the outside is stark. You're startled by it and try to make your way up the mountain, slipping on the ground below. You can see off to the side nothing but clouds and emptiness, assuming that it's just a long drop down to the ground from which you first came. An hour passes. You guys start to feel a little woozy and wobbly. The air getting even thinner. Specifically, Monaco and Cal, you start to really feel it. It's too reminiscent of what you felt before, but you're not quite there yet. But you can feel yourself getting a little lightheaded. Kai looks back to check on Monaco, sees her falter a little bit, and goes over to give you a little aid, smiling back.
I can make it.
Right. Come on then. And he begins to push again. At this point, King, this is probably when you'll be feeling that your sight is starting to get a little woozy. Monaco and Cal, you can see them starting to stumble over a little bit. Then, before everyone else, I'll need the two of you to make Constitution saving throws.
Would I be able to do my bolstering before this, or no?
No. You have to do it. You can do it afterwards. That's when you realize, but they are a little bit more affected by it.
And we still get our Cal bonus, right?
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Just Monaco and 15, 19. Just those two.
Oh, okay.
Woohoo!
So you both pass. You're starting to stumble, but you manage to pass your checks and keep yourself steeled, looking on at Kai, who's trudging ahead.
Luminosity! And I'll hold up Chasufold to emit a blinking beacon to sort of call everyone to me.
You all see the beacon shining up. Kai looks back, notices, and walks towards you.
Monaco follows.
Once we're all within range of each other and we can huddle up, I'll say, I think that it's probably time. It's getting harder and harder to travel, so let's try and push through this. We have quite a journey ahead of us, and I know that we all can. And I'll link arms with everybody, and I will say, it is time to rely on the gods and help us through this. We have more than just ourselves at stake. We have the sake of the realm. And with that, I call upon the aid of Myliki. With her, I call forth Evergreen's resistance. And I'll pull forth the spirit of an evergreen pine tree and infuse us with enhanceability. And it's the bear's endurance, reflavored as Evergreen's endurance. And I can cast it at a higher level, and this one I have to twin. So I will cast it at a 4th level and twin it using 4 sorcery points. So that way all 6 of us have Bear's, Pine's, Endurance, giving advantage on Constitution checks, and then 2d6 temporary hit points, which are lost at the end of the spell. But did we get Monaco's 14 from eating?
Yes.
So then the temporary hit points wouldn't matter because hers are higher.
All right. And at that point, as King challenges, as you're all huddled together, the wind blowing at your faces, you all feel the stingingness of the ice as it shoots across your nose and your eyes, freezing up your eyebrows. I need you to roll me all Constitution saving throws, except for Monaco and Cal. So we have Horatio with a 27, Duran with a 29, a 16 by King, and yep, that's everyone. You all try to embrace it. The energy coming from King doesn't seem to help, though. It gets wiped away almost by the frigid air of Kudo Mountain. But using your own resolve and steeling yourselves, you all pass your checks. And Kai looks over to you. Thank you. Let's go. I have a little bit left. And he continues walking off for a few more hours. At this point, you have climbed quite a bit of way. You went about a half a day's journey all the way up this mountain. The landscape changing and getting steeper and steeper. More gem-like rock formations are appearing and blocking your way. You see there is a cave-like entrance off in the distance, and Kai looks at it, points to you, and the wind is so powerful right now that all your vision is completely obscured. All you can see is barely his hands pointing in motion to go towards that cave. Ahead of you, though, is another obstacle-looking area. This one is different levels of rocks and crystal shattered across the pathway for about 30 feet. You, King, you know that Chastifold it would be some strong mental fortitude to keep it steady in these winds.
No, I assumed I've been walking with the group holding it because we established the winds were too hard.
Yes. Well, I mean, as in, if you want to try to fly over this, it will be extremely difficult.
Oh, is it like a chasm we're coming across?
Well, no, it's like a rock. Is like a rock obstacle with sharp gem-like rocks, all going up 10, 15 feet into the air. You can tell it would be pretty rough to make it over this. This doesn't look good. I can probably carry one of you. The rest, you have to make it over on your own.
I have the ability to turn into a flying creature and carry one person myself.
I have a way across. I can take one person with me.
I will attempt to use my vagary once again, picking up some of those steps that I took a close study of as Kai demonstrated them last night. I wasn't able to practice them, but I took very diligent mental notes on the movements and the angles of each step.
Kai goes up first and puts his hand out to Monako. Do you need help?
I thank you, Kai, for carrying me all this way. And she'll take his hand.
Okay. So you hold on to Kai, and Kai jumps up. So as soon as he jumps up and starts doing this dance and completing it after about 6 seconds, he picks you up and you both jump up, and he gets pushed by a gust of wind that lands him back onto the ground. Both of you tumble on, rolling onto the snow, taking 1 point of damage. I don't understand. Hold on. And he goes and tries again, and this time he's able to get to the top. I don't know. Monako. And he looks down to you, just confused.
I think I do. I have to go myself.
Are you sure? It's a whole hodgepodge of rock formations. They're all like sharp crystals just shooting up. You wouldn't be able to, like, stepping onto it, you have to be pretty graceful to get across the top. You can somehow try to work your way through it, but it looks like really rough terrain that will scratch you up and do some damage as you make your way through.
She looks up at him and closes her eyes, takes a deep breath and thinks for a second, and then she opens them again and says, I can't do this alone. Can you dance with me? And then she whispers that just out. And then she holds her hands up as though grasping at a figure for a 2-person waltz, hoping in her heart that her patron can be there with her.
And as you speak this out and whispering it, no one else can really hear because of the wind howling, but they do see you lift your hands. Kai goes to move for a second, but everything slows down. The familiar shadows of darkness fill your peripherals. A hand touching your shoulders with intense heat comes upon you. Shall I lead?
Please. She just pulls in to his touch and receives the position for dancing with him.
A red, black, bony, devilish hand with orange scales grabs yours, though the figure behind the hand you cannot see in the darkness. And then another hand grabs your other one, and you begin to dance. Roll me a performance check at advantage. 21. So your hands are moved up, and in the darkness you begin to spin. All of you around Monako see flames erupt around her, and as those flames erupt, when they die down, they become pure diamond-like shards. And every time she takes a step, these diamond shards pick up and shoot up from the ground. Monako, you close your eyes and follow the steps that is led by your patron, and you walk into the obstacle of rocks and stone. Each time you get closer towards one of the sharp, jagged edges of the crystal obstacle, they shatter. Every time you get close to it, you begin to dance with your patron, and a feeling of trust and affection, one that you felt before for this patron when they had saved you that time ago, washes over you, and you just give your all to him. Come now, my love. Next step now. And he twists you around, and halfway through you once again shatter all of the rocks that would impede your pass. They're reforming as you walk past once again. And as you begin to dance with your patron, something inside you begins to beat. Something hard, something strong, but light and warm and full of love and affection. And words begin to form into your head.
Stone vagary activate! Diamonds ballet!
And as you start to dance around with your patron, all the rocks begin to shatter. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's it. My beautiful Monako. And all of you are just looking at Monako dancing by herself as if she's being carried by someone else, blazing a trail of fire and rock before it dies off, and just a beautiful train of diamond dust forming between her and reflecting light so you can all clearly see inside, until eventually when she gets further enough, she disappears. Monako, opening your eyes after this dance, you see everything go from being shadowy to windy again. A familiar black and blue light from the mountain and the winds comes into your peripherals, and the touch of your patron leaves your shoulder. I will always be here for you, my Monako. Just like I know you'll always be there for me. If you need more help, give me a call. But don't forget, I'm always watching.
She'll drop a deep curtsy at the end of the dance to her partner.
Kai just looks flabbergasted. What? And he just goes and starts cloud dancing over each of the rock pillars until landing gracefully next to you. What was that?
I felt in my heart what I must do, and now I know how to do it. Thank you, Kai, for showing me where not to go.
He looks confused and a little worried, but as long as you're okay and you made it over, that was impressive. Meanwhile, on the other side, who is going next?
I'll try my hand at it. I want to take the advice and little instruction demonstration that Kai had given last night, specifically about storm dancing, and implement that and incorporate that into what I've already been doing.
All right. You can roll me a performance check at advantage. 1T1. All right. So you all watch as Cal steps up and performs the same movements that he did before at the first obstacle. This time more precise, not missing a single beat, in every movement pointing directly, 45-degree angle, 30-degree angle, even 60-degree, moving your guns, twirling them around. They're stopping in place. You all feel a little intimidated by the abrasive movements that he's making, but in shock and how sharp they are being committed. And as you finish the last one, lightning starts to spark around you, Cal, and your body starts to disappear, turning into a form of a jet stream of light and energy. And you move, thrusting yourself into and begin bouncing off similar between each of these diamond rocks, shooting across. At the end of it, this time, since you performed so well in your performance check, you see a clearing further away from your allies and shoot there instead, not causing any type of tremor or them to fall back.
Good. Oh man, I was worried about that with the wind. And as like you were saying, I shoot over into this area a little bit out of the way from everybody else as to not knock anyone over. I like would you say that I would like reform into my body just takes shape again?
Yes, instantly. You strike like lightning down, hitting this, causing a black scar on the floor beneath you. And when you shoot down, you're just back to yourself. Lightning still over you. Your hair kind of all messy and staticky.
There we go.
That's going to take some getting used to.
Maybe I'll even learn how to bring people with me when I do it, Monako.
She kind of looks left and right and laughs nervously.
If you can do that, well, you'll be a greater storm dancer than I.
Maybe one day, but you definitely have taught me much on this trip.
That's the whole point. Like, I can see how and why demon dancers would seek to climb this mountain. It teaches you how to use your vagaries, puts it to the test. It's almost like it's alive.
Yeah, I've just with what I've seen, it feels like the mountain knows the challenge that you need to overcome to reach your potential. I can't wait to see what happens with King, Horatio, and Duran. Monako, that was amazing.
Thank you. I never knew I had it in me.
Back on the other side, who is going next?
I will go next, Duran declares, pulling from his back the magnetic blade from before. Duran is kind of going to do a form. He's going to try to do the dance steps that he was given by Kai earlier, but he spent time meditating on his blade. He's going to try to incorporate it into like a blade kata form, and then try to leap using the kind of momentum gathered by swinging the blade and then jumping.
All right, so roll me a performance check at advantage as you have been taught some of these movements.
Damn.
Okay, an 8. So you go ahead and concentrate and begin to do your steps. You're a little off balance. It feels funny to you. Your pride's still getting in the way. As you begin to walk and step up, jumping up into the air, you are wobbly. You make it to the top and you lose your footing. The name coming towards you, and as you're starting to feel it, it just gets lost and you begin to fall down into the stone pillar, the sharp stone pillar, scratching yourself up as you tumble down, making your way to the innard of the obstacle. You take 12 points of piercing damage as you get cut up and torn up, falling down into the ground below.
Duran cries out in pain as he is ricocheted off stone, getting cut on this fall down into the stony path.
Cousin, are you okay? And I'm gonna like run to the ledge and look down.
You can't really see him in there. It's all just rocks.
Run!
Horatio would try to see, can I throw some dancing lights down there to see if maybe I could see him?
For you guys, because it's at your level, then shooting up, it will be more like in there. You can see, you just saw him jump up and then fall down into it, and then to this like forest of rocks and gems. But you can try to send a dancing light in there.
Yeah, I would like try to see if I could see him. Just give myself vision, you know.
Okay, roll me a perception check.
I'm like there sort of looking too. Can I also try and see if I can find him?
Yeah, you both roll me a perception check. All right, 15 from Horatio, 11 from King. King, you can't quite see anything. Horatio, you think you see movement over towards the right, about 10 feet ahead. It's definitely being blocked by all these jagged rocks.
I see something to the right, King.
Okay, I'll go in and get him.
Duran, your pin, you can try to break free. Part of the burn of the dam was taken by by the energy you received from Monaco. It's fading thin. You can squeeze yourself through and attempt to, but you no longer have space to perform your cloud vagary. You'll probably have to just use normal athletics or acrobatics to kind of make your way across at disadvantage. Or you can wait there.
Disadvantage, you say?
Mm-hmm. Unless you have something that gives you advantage, then you would just do it at normal.
Can't we like pull him out?
You'll have to make your way in there.
What's a climber's kit?
Think about it this way. So think of like a very jagged forest full of like of metallic, let's say trees or something like that. And all the trees have like sharp edges. So if you walk on through, you're going to scratch yourself up. And they're in all different shapes and sizes. So it's almost like a maze. You have to like duck in and around and try not to basically like...
So he like jumped up and is like 10 or 15 feet in there. He's not like at the edge.
Exactly. He jumped up, went there, and then fell into the like a good chunk, 10 feet in.
Thanks. I needed a little help picturing it. That makes it easier.
No problem.
When we shout out, Duran, can he hear us? Even though we can't see him?
Duran, make me a perception check. It's like if all you hear is ringing in your ears and all that, could you? 14. You hear muffled shouts coming from behind you. But like I said, if you can stay there, or you can roll an athletics or acrobatics check to see if you can kind of finagle your way through.
He's going to try to, by using acrobatics, kind of like maneuver his way out, kind of like 3 points of contact each, and kind of worm his way through crystalline structure.
So roll me an acrobatics at disadvantage. With an 18, you push out, scratching up your body in the process. So now you're starting to bleed from from the exposed body parts. But pushing to, you make it into a clearing on the inside. Landing, you're still surrounded by these shards. You can attempt another one if you want, or you can stay here and call for your friends. If so, you have to just roll me another acrobatic check at... I would say now that you're out and not pinned anymore, you can do it a normal acrobatic check.
Before he rolls it, he's going to take a second to kind of focus his breathing on his training, slow down the bleeding, and I'm going to use a bonus action, try to use a bonus action to take a second wind to heal myself by 1d10 plus my fighter level and hit points.
All right. All right, so Duran, you take a deep breath. And as you breathe, the air gets pulled in. As you're taking huge breath, more breaths that you normally would, but the connection to breathing to the air is heightened within you, and you know how to utilize it. And you gain your hit points back, so you're at full hit points.
He's going to kind of like set back up, go back into the kata form he was in before, think on the steps that he was given by Kai. And this time, not so much trust in the energy of the momentum of the blade or in the physics of the jump or anything other than his faith in himself.
All right. So since there's not much space here for you to do, if you're going to try to do the dance again, you'll have to roll me a performance at disadvantage.
He will do it at a disadvantage. He knows that we've come here to unlock our vagaries. And with the information he had gotten from earlier, he knows that there's no point in turning back.
All right. Okay. A 9. It's really hard to complete these movements without getting scratched up from the jagged rocks around you, but you try to complete it and you jolt off. Now you can roll me your acrobatics check. 18. All right, so you jump off. The winds are still not picking up strongly, but you do feel a little gust. It does propel you forward slightly, giving you the edge you need to jump back and forth using your own acrobatics. So it's not so much your vagary as before, whereas your just own nimbleness, but it does aid you, and you take some scratches and bruises along the way, but you burst out on the other side next to Kai, Cal, and Monaco out of the rock formation obstacle. But you do take an additional 8 points of damage, of piercing damage, but you have made it over nonetheless.
Duran kind of lands with a flop in the snow. I do not recommend taking that way.
Are you all right, Duran? Kai says, looking at you.
I do not expect the mastery would be this easy. I expected challenges. Do not worry about me.
He reaches out and goes to help you up.
Duran pulls himself up.
It's all right. Let's hope the other ones can make it across. Shifting back, Horatio, King, who's up next?
Horatio looks at King and says, "All right, friend, here's my attempt." And then he's going to walk up.
I believe in you.
He looks back at King and says, "Thank you, friend. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the other side." And then as Horatio takes out his components and then holds it with his thumb right on the palm of his hand, puts both of his hands in front of him, and then immediately extends them both to the right. Remembering all of the notes said by Kai, he immediately extends them both to the right and then brings the right arm down and the left arm up and immediately brings them back to the middle and extends them out in front of him, and then begins to like kind of crouch a little bit. And as he pushes up, he expands his hands and he polymorphs into an eagle and then just takes a big like swoosh up, basically.
All right, so moving your hands in that motion, you transform into an eagle, and you see feathers start to go where your fingers are. Your nose and mouth turns into a beak until your entire body has then become that of a giant eagle. Pushing up, you go to push up with it. Roll me a performance check in the process of you summoning this power. Okay, 15. You fly up in your eagle formation and begin to push against the winds, trying to make it over. The winds are strong. Roll me a strength check at advantage. 18, all right. As you begin to push against the wind, it's hard. It's pushing back into it seems to be even more powerful up here. Maybe something arcane in nature or natural, you're not sure. And you push and flap your wings, and as you flap, ice starts to form around your the tips of your feathers, and you start to lose altitude, and you're trying to shake off the ice, but you can't. And at the last moment, before you start to crash and careen down into the rock formation, flames tips from your feathers begin to engulf it, and then you see woof, 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 and the ice melts off, and you're able to stretch out your feathers. Using that, you push up and still continue to spin and move further and further. The flames kind of creating like a weird like kite, like the tail of a kite formation on your wings. I need you to roll me another strength check that the wind still is blowing against you. 7.
Can I use my Rabu bonus?
You can, yes. Okay, 5 for a total of 13. No, 12.
Can I see him, like, struggling?
Roll me a perception check at disadvantage. The wind is really high. You can't really see up this high.
Oh, Horatio, you best hope that... Oh, yes, that's pretty good.
A 14. You see a strange spiraling fire flame tail from over there, and it does look disrupt. Like, not, like it's like going a little hazy.
Okay, I'm going to clasp my hands together, and I'm going to offer a quick prayer, not to Myliki, but to Nyx. And I'm going to say, Nyx, grant him your everlasting blanket and be the cloak he needs, and use my shared favor and spend 2 sorcery points to add a d4 to his... Sorry, I tried.
1.
I appreciate it.
So King, seeing something going awry and just strange flames coming from that area, you try to shoot out, and you make contact with something, but it doesn't feel like as much. Your power doesn't seem to really be hitting him. Horatio, as you begin to pick up a little bit, and you don't crash into it per se, more as you scrape up against it, barely lifting up. You do take piercing damage to the equivalent of 5 piercing damage. But that does come out of your HP as an eagle.
Alright, I have to roll a concentration check.
Yes, you do.
That's just a con check, right?
Alright, so you hold on to Polymorph, able to keep your concentration. The wind is still blowing against you, and you look down and you can see up close your own reflection from these crystalline pillars and their sharp, jagged edges. You try to give yourself some more altitude. Go ahead and roll me another strength check. 16! Nice. So the wind begins to blow at you, and shards of hail strike at you, and you go into a spiraling spin using the flames that are on your wingtips. They all melt, turning into water before freezing again when it goes past your body. You push forward, and you see your allies on the other side finally. The rest of you look up and to see a trail of a burning stream coming up, not sure what figure is in between them. Roll me one last strength check, Horatio. A 3. So, Horatio, you're hit again by the wind, and the flames go out. And you, at this point, the wind is pushing you now, and you lose your balance and start to tumble, landing onto the rocks, but falling forward so that you're outside of the jagged forest. Landing in bird form still, you take an additional 8 points of damage. And you're on the ground, gasping for air, looking at your allies, they all look shocked and then curious, and then worry once they realize.
So as I came crashing down as this eagle, right before he hit the ground as the eagle, he would have dropped the concentration and just started rolling.
All right. So you fall into the ground, taking that damage, feeling hurt. But that all came from your eagle, so you don't take any damage from yourself. You do see Monako, Cal, and Kai. You all look over and see Horatio barely making it over, but getting up, dusting himself off after turning back from an eagle into a person.
Hey, what's up, guys? That's Horatio yelling at y'all as he's walking over.
Like the phoenix of legend.
Impressive, Horatio. I thought I warned you, though, that way it wasn't safe.
I had to see it for myself, friend. I'm glad to see you're okay.
Quite impressive, Horatio. Quite impressive.
Kai turns and says, I've never seen magic and power of vagaries combine into one that way. That's very interesting.
There's always an explanation to everything, my friend.
I'm sure, but still. I mean, we've had mages with vagaries before, but they don't mix. Something about you, he says, looking at you, and then he shakes his head. And then, King, let's hope he has just the same amount of luck as we had. Not better. So, King, you're on the other side, alone. Everyone, to your knowledge, you think passed over. What do you do?
Last but not least, I look at what everyone has done so far and how they've gone. And I think to myself, I could take the easy route and just use my connection to port me to the other side, but how will I grow if I do that? Mylaki, thank you for everything you've done to me, but today I dance with her. The night shall be my guide. And with that, I'll do a graceful elven bow, and in one direction, as if gesturing to Mylaki herself, and say, but I know that you will always guide me. And with that, I will make a few hand gestures and cast guidance on myself. And then I will look to the other direction, or a different direction, and then I will say, if I may ask for your hand for this dance. And I sort of put my hands out similarly to how Minako did earlier, thinking that she was partnering with Nyx herself in her dance, and seeing success, I wish to try the same. So I hold my hands out, but this time asking to lead, and I'll say, I hope you'll grant me the blessing of this waltz, or grant me the honor of dancing with me during this waltz. And I will bow honorably to offer a hand, and then continue as if she has accepted my dance. And in a waltz, traditionally it's two people circling quite rapidly as they circle around. So I will start to spin and dance and think of the mist and think of the fluidity of dancing. And instead of fighting the area and the environment and the ground, I'm going to try and move with it.
All right. Go ahead and roll me a performance check. So 15 is your final number. So King, you open your heart and soul to all the elements, all the experiences you've taken to guide you through this, and you begin to dance, completing the movements similar to what you've done when you danced around the Daimyo Kaiji. You go ahead and dance and walk into the forest of crystals and gently glide across. The water that has formed from the snow seems to propel you slightly as you glide across the ground. As you take another fluidic step and go up, you scratch yourself on the shards but instead of taking damage, the damage that you did take quickly seems to heal up. And then you go again and you scratch yourself again, but then the pain goes away instantly. And you continue this strange as you hear faint drops of water dripping in your mind's eye. At the end, when you open up your eyes, you see that you're on the other side, your friend's staring at you. Cuts and bruises all over you, and then they all glitter and glow a green bluish hue until the scars have disappeared.
Is he okay? How bad does he look? Minako has her eyes covered.
I'm fine. I was invigorated by Nyx and the land. I am sturdier than I look.
King, you just walked through it. That was horrible.
I felt as if I were to use my magic to just instantly bring me across, it would not have been looked well upon by the spirit of the land. And I needed to prove myself, and this is just how it happened.
Well, you look all right, I guess.
The gods must be smiling on your efforts, King.
I think a few people are smiling down upon me. It took quite a lot of hope and a lot of blessings to make it through, but I did. Don't worry. We have more things ahead and more pressing matters. I'm here.
The cave's not so far. It's getting colder and harder to breathe still. Let's keep moving.
You should keep moving indeed.
Kai looks on over to King. You have some regenerative properties there. Looks like you're a healer.
I generally find myself more in tune with healing magics. Although I can put up a fight if I need to.
I'm sure you can.
But yes, you are correct. I serve as healer and aid to this group, and support, and to you too, as you saw earlier this morning.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Well, we all made it. As Minako said, the path is ahead of us. See what's in these caves. There's nowhere else to go. And he begins to head off. You all continue walking. Cave looks to be about another hour's off. The winds have died down at this point, almost inviting you to walk into the cavern of onyx of obsidian and glass. And as you walk up towards it, you feel an eerie chill blow from the inside. Kai stops at the mouth of this large cave and looks back towards all of you. So, are we ready?
I think it's best to get out of this weather. Let's go.
Whatever's got to come, I'm ready.
You're right, Minako. There's no avoiding it.
Horatio grips the staff. Onward.
All right. So, you all walk into the cave. It's pretty dark in here. If you don't have any dark vision, it's virtually impossible to see all around you.
I can light this up, help us out, and I'll hold up Chesafold and say, luminosity! And then it will emit a soft glow.
Satchel lights up, lighting up the cave. Inside, it's beautiful in here. All different types of shades of blue, green, yellow, reflecting off of the once black obsidian, and now it's just a technicolor rainbow of all different lights.
It's beautiful.
Are there any loose, pieces of this, what we're stepping on, just the ground? Are there any loose pieces?
I mean, there's dirt, there's rocks and dirt around, but the ground is specifically made of just regular dirt. The walls are this strange multicolored crystals. None of them are loose, though. Everyone roll me a perception check. Okay, so we have a natural 1, so 3 from Minako, Cal 17, Duran 24, King 2, and Horatio 10. And for Kai, okay. Everyone who rolled over a 10, let me rephrase that. As you're beginning to walk and you look up, you see carved into the glass itself is Infernal. For those of you who can read Infernal, it specifically says, lay your soul on the line and shatter it.
Lay your soul on the line and shatter it. Kai, what do you think that means? King, Horatio.
I have no idea, Kai says, looking at it.
It's probably a challenge of will and soul, is what I guess.
Well, it depends on what your definition of a soul is. I'm not sure I understand this.
I don't want to get into the semantics of what is and is not a soul. I just meant it in a metaphor. It's something deep within you.
Something that could be holding you back, maybe?
Kai, could you read it again?
It says, lay your soul on the line and shatter it. I have no idea what that means.
Is there an altar? Is there something in this space? Or is it just like a cave?
Just a cave that continues going forward, carved in a piece of the ceiling that's lower than the rest, and this is what's carved in the glass. Like if someone took a knife and carved it into the glass.
There's more to the cave, right?
Yeah, it keeps going farther than your eyes can see.
Minako, when you did your dance, the diamonds, they kind of shattered away. Maybe you were very close to unlocking yours.
Well, do you think I should try again?
I don't know if right here is where we need to try this, or if it's a warning for deeper within the cave, or advice for deeper in the cave. I don't know. Advice, warning, it might be the same.
Well, waiting around here won't help us.
So do you think we should just continue on?
That's what we came here to do, isn't it?
Then let's go.
You're right. No use standing around. Let's go. Be on your guard, everyone. And Kai walks forward, looking up at the sign, saying to shatter the soul as he walks past it. And you all follow one by one. You guys walk for about 5 minutes, and a strange mist begins to appear, as if coming from deeper within the tunnel. It rises up towards your feet before getting higher and higher until it finally obscures your vision. You all look around for each other. Kai notices this and says, Minako! Minako!
I'm here.
Minako!
I can't see.
His voice disappears.
Kai? Kai? And she'll go looking after the voice.
Alright, you run on off. The rest of you, your vision obscured by this mist as well. You look around for your allies, call out for them. No response.
Everyone, stay close.
We can't see each other, right? Can we hear each other?
You hear a little bit of noise, and then eventually it cuts off. You hear nothing but just the echoes of your footsteps within this crystal hall.
Horatio says, it's testing time.
Alright. So, Duran, as you walk in, look around for your allies, calling out for them, hearing no response, the mist finally dissipates into a clearing that you see about 10 feet ahead. Walking towards that to some breath of fresh light, as if you're just completely dark here, though you have dark vision. You walk up towards it. Going through, you immediately stop as you see the cave mouth exits towards a ravine shooting straight down to clouds and nothing. Looking to your left and your right, you see nothing but just mountains towards the horizon and what looks to be a platform about 200 feet on the other side. There seems to be a path on the mountain that goes all the way to the right, though it looks very like you'll have to kind of shimmy across and then wrap around, probably take you couple hours to make the full loop to get to the other side. Towards your left, you do see floating in the sky about 50 feet above you is an orb glowing with a flame of gray-like cloud colored flame.
How close to the walls?
Well, the walls, there's in front of you, there's nothing but just a huge gap. The walls are right next to you. Towards your left, there's a ledge and then it's nothing. And to your right, there's a small little edge that you can shimmy across to get all the way down for hundreds of feet, where it wraps around and then continues until you finally make it to the other side. Though it does not seem to connect to whatever is floating up in there in the sky.
Okay, I'm thinking about this layout. Okay, Dungeon Master, can I, if there are walls behind me that are kind of closer, can I kind of like step back and wall jump my way up to get momentum and then try to parkour run my way up?
Well, the mountain is quite high. It goes up to, doesn't even lead anywhere. It doesn't look like. You can, and the distance from the wall to where this thing is floating, it's about 100 feet.
I see. Then
halfway to the other side. Or it looks like you can actually take a path that will lead you, although much longer, down kind of this ravine that wraps around, eventually making to the other side. Choice is yours.
Duran's thinking he might try. Steve's thinking he might try to run up the wall jump up to the near walls here, and then try to jump off and try to reach out through the power of the cloud vagary and see if he can touch some force that might let him get higher.
All right. If you want to activate your dance, go ahead and roll me a performance check at advantage.
Can you take me higher?
Unnatural 20. All right. So, Duran, you kind of look over, take a deep breath, and start to move in the formations that you went over with the night before with Kai. After completing them, you move in that shifting motion, hitting each step with precision, but fluidity, with passion and trust, combining the elements that Kai had discussed with you. In doing so, you go and you start to run up the wall 5 feet up, 10 feet up, and you feel the wind from beneath your feet start to gather and you push off. In doing so, you twist and spin, go to take another step as your momentum it can only bring you so far. Stepping onto the actual air, doof, 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 doof. You begin walking across the sky. You're about 70 feet away from it at this point after doing your initial thrust, and you go to continue to walk. Or do you continue to head in that direction towards the orb in the sky, or do you want to just go completely across? It will take you out your way to get there, though.
His goal is to kind of try to run up as high as he can get and kind of leap with his back facing the chasm.
Yes. You were successful in doing so, so now you're actually... It wouldn't take you all the way to that orb if that's where you're going. If not, you can just go straight across. Seems like you've gotten the ability to step on the air at this moment.
His goal seems to be kind of to get to that orb, though. That seems to be the point of the challenge for him.
All right. So, therefore, you activate your sky walk and begin to walk up in that direction, going further away from the exit. At this point, you can easily see that there's a doorway on the other side. It looks intricate with strange golden and black designs on it. And you're not sure if it's locked or not, but there is a closed door on the other side. But
then Duran is going to dart towards that as his next goal.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see if you make it to this orb, though. Go ahead and roll for me a wisdom check at advantage. Natural 20. Make a 21. All right. So, still continuing to walk and run across the air, you step one left and right, going from stepping on the air itself and darting with quick and sharp movements bouncing until finally you make it to this floating cloud-like orb. Inside of it, the gray light. You can grab it if you want, as you're stepping on the air right next to it.
Yeah, Duran is going to grab it.
All right, grabbing it, you feel a warmth of something familiar. It just feels like something that you've always had and had lost, but now have found it once again. As that feeling washes over you, you look and know. You look towards the doorway, which seems to be slowly opening. You can roll me another wisdom check at advantage to keep up your skywalk and make it to the other side. A 12.
At this point, I might want to beseech the strength of the El Rabu to help me.
All right, roll a d8. Ooh, an 8 to make a total of another dirty 20. All right, so Duran, you begin to falter and you felt the wind starting to give way, and you look down and thinking of Makar praying, trying to channel the energy that the Arabu had given you. You give all faith to that and let loose all your inhibitions, and Skywalk continues that, and you use this to kind of jolt across the walkway. Roll me one last wisdom saving throw at advantage.
Awesome. Duran is kind of channeling that experience he had the first time he flew in Galeem, holding on to the Arabu's wings as he glided back to save his friends. The first time he had to put his faith in something stronger than himself.
19. All right. So, spinning in the air as your nose diving towards the ground, you just feel a burst of air from your feet. Doof, 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 as you are pushed through the air. Onto the ground you roll, clutching the orb, before kind of skinning and spinning and landing on your feet, like upright, buckled over slightly, and like raising your head up. You turn around and see the door open behind you, and you just see like another shroud of mist come out of it.
Duran kind of looks back and he thinks, "Thank you, Makar. You wanted to fly too."
And with that, are you running through?
Heck yeah.
Right. With that, clutching the orb that you have grabbed, you run through and disappear into the mist. So Horatio, you call out to your allies, reaching out, but no one responds. Eventually, the mist died down for you, and you walk through the threshold of the cave, seeing some light on the other side. As it's completely dark for you, you have no night vision. But following the light, you come across the threshold and see, to your upper left, a flame on a golden torch, a brazier. And on coming out of a chute from the top of the mountain of the cave wall, is you see a clear crystal-like orb. It falls down into a slide mechanism. That following the slide mechanism, you see it goes all the way across this long room. To your right is just wall, and then there's a stone walkway leading towards a large ornate door with black and gold trimmings. As the orb falls down onto the slide, it passes through the flame. The flame gets a little bit dimmer when it does so. As it passes through, that entire area, you notice, goes black. So you can no longer see the orb, but you do hear the rolling of something hard on a smooth surface. Eventually, trying to follow it with your eyes, you see the orb exit through a hole on the other side, no more than 60 feet from you, fall down and shatter. What do you do?
So there is, on the right, you said that I saw a wall with...
Yeah, just nothing but wall. Just a glass wall that looks like part of the cave.
Okay, and it just seems like there's a ball that's going through the fire, or an orb that's going through the fire through the left, and then disappears into somewhere, and then comes out the other side and it shatters.
Yeah, it falls into the ground and shatters.
Do I see any way to maybe move where the orb comes out so that it lands somewhere where it doesn't shatter?
You can walk on over there if you want and check it out and inspect that area.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. So you walk across the stone platform leading to you. You see to your left, there is just nothing but it's like a cavern that goes on to nothingness. Looking up, you do see everything that went black goes clear again. You see the flame, though albeit a little bit different, and you see the stone slide that the ball took, and you follow it across, and then eventually making it to the other side where the door is, you see that there is a large hole there that seems to deposit out of. Roll me an investigation check. 13. All right. Looking down at the shards of the orb that had crashed onto the ground, you see that it's cold. You try to pick it up and you're like, it's cold to the touch, frigid. As if, and you see it's frost touched, where it was easy to see through before. And you saw the flame, this red flame, get captured into the orb, and the orb basically lit up with this flame. Now there's no flame in it, and it's all just completely ice.
Knowing that I'm probably going to have the flame vagary, it seems like maybe I need to make the fire more powerful and find a way to move it so that it doesn't shatter when it lands.
Looking up again, you see another ball drop down, take up some of the flame. The flame gets even smaller, and then that entire area where the path is going goes black. And you hear the sound of rolling. Roll me a perception check. 15. As it's rolling, you hear like the sound of ice touching metal or ice frosting over an object. And you see it come out of the hole and shatter on impact as it hits like the little cup that it uses to catch it. And you can tell, you just feel how frigid it is.
Okay, so something is freezing it on the way out, so I don't have to change anything. I just have to stop that thing that's freezing it. So he noticed that the fire is getting weaker. Is there anywhere where he can possibly feed fire into?
And once you look around, it doesn't look like it. It's off in the distance. You can maybe cast something if you think you can cast something, but nothing comes to mind that will have you reach it or feed it, unless you yourself have something that you try.
I mean, I have firebolt, but I don't think throwing a firebolt at it is a good idea. How far away is it? Like, can I walk up to it, or? Oh
no, let's say it's like 200 feet above, like it's 200 feet to your now if you're looking at it from the other end, to your right now, as you turn around, and it's off in the distance. You can clearly make out where it is, and it looks like this winding path. As it gets revisible, it goes from being completely black, that area as if it's been blacked out, to being visible again, and it has now rolled. Like, you now can see the path of how it's rolling to the mountainside and then going into the mountain, flowing through the spot that you're at right now. Oh, you're sure of right now that it must be being attacked or hit by something cold that's putting it out.
Can I... That area where I heard that burst, or like that sound of something freezing something, is there any way for me to access that area?
Access it yourself? No, doesn't seem like it.
Can I detect magic or anything like that, just to see if there's maybe something magical that I can cancel?
Alright, so you go ahead and cast your detect magic. What's the distance on that?
I believe it's a 30-foot radius.
Oh, well, you won't be able to reach that far. It's 200 feet away from you.
Hold on.
The only thing you know is that the trials have been vagary based, so you can attempt anything you want, having that.
Well, yeah, I know that. I just have felt that for Horatio, it's been more melding it with his magic. So he's trying to find a solution and use his magic and use the vagary, or try to wake up the vagary to help with that.
So what would you like to do so? You've seen how vagaries have been unlocked in the past. What would you like to do in order to try to get yours? And if you want to think about it, we can jump to someone else.
Yeah, give me some time to think about it.
Sure. So, Monako, you call out for Kai and he doesn't respond. The mists start to fade away and you see a light in the distance. Going towards that light, you pass the threshold into a large cavern. This cavern is filled with what you can see is sharp vines and crystals, similar to the pathway that you walked through before, but on a larger scale. On the other end of it, you see about 60 feet ahead of it, of this large cavern, you see an ornate golden and black door with a brown glowing flame inside of a crystal, circular sphere, hovering inside, or to say encased inside of a large crystal. But the path there doesn't look good. It looks even worse than what you saw before when you tried to get here. Although you were able to get through that. What would you like to do?
She kind of considers the puzzle in front of her. Those sharp crystal formations don't look good. And she'll say, but I have to be able to do this myself. And I appreciate your blessing and guidance, but I need to be able to get through this. I must master this on my own. And then she'll cast guidance on herself, and then take a few steps back, take a deep breath, and then she reaches into her pouch, and she pulls out a little snack and takes a bite, and then smiles, and begins the movements of the dance she made earlier, this time hoping to just bring them out herself.
All right. Roll me a performance check. 28. Oof. All right, Monako, you perform the dance. You perform the dance and reach out, trying to emulate the movements you did before with your patron, but this time by yourself. In doing so, you step slowly, one after another, trying to walk in between the vines and the thorns and the jagged edges of more crystal-like rock, and they begin to rip and tear as they get close to you. The more crystal diamond-like substance is being pulled from the ground and wrapping around you, making some type of barrier from the terrain that holds you at bay. Roll me a wisdom check at advantage. 7. Your concentration is broken slightly as you're trying to step. You're nervous. Being alone and doing this by yourself, it wavers a little bit. And in doing so, the diamonds that were forming around your feet and your arms, they fall to the ground a little bit. You get scratched up and hit by many of the jagged terrain, taking 12 points of slashing damage and piercing damage. But nonetheless, you continue to go again. Roll me another wisdom check. This time a regular one, not at advantage. 14. All right.
As she's spinning, she reaches up, and as she's doing her movements, she thinks back to the dance she performed with him, and she holds up her hand as if to grab his, and she does a little twirl as she's invoking Dark One's own luck to give her a d10.
All right. Roll a d10. An 18 in total. Let me give you a hand. And as you lift up your hand, you're twirled around by a force that you are far too familiar with. And in doing so, you feel the vagary in you start to light up once again. As you open your eyes, you see yourself 3/4 of the way across, but no longer feeling the touch of your patron. Make me one last wisdom check at advantage since you succeeded the last time. Okay, a 10. You start to dance around, make it, but the dance that you do stops as you stumble, falling onto the ground. You do make it to the other side, but you take an additional 12 points of damage. But you make it across, albeit a little battered and bruised.
Okay, maybe I need a hand. And she'll reach up and try to touch that. She'll examine the door in front of her and examine the sort of floating encased orb and go to touch it.
As you go to touch it, the rocks and crystals that are around you come up from your feet and strike it, shattering the crystal pillar that has the ball encased. It falls into the ground, rolling towards your feet, and then the door opens up as you go to pick it up.
She'll proceed.
All right, you walk through. King, you too walk within the dark and the mist fading down, calling out for your allies to no avail. You pass through the threshold of light that you see at the end of the cave, walk into a large cavern with a lake in the center of it. On the other side, probably about 100 feet, you see a golden and black door, ornate, that is shut. Looking down at when you go towards the edge of the platform, you do see this pristine lake deep down, and it can go, you don't know how deep it goes down. To your left and your right, you just see it continues on for forever. What do you do?
So I'm going to sort of put my hands together and sort of like crack my knuckle, say out loud, I've made it this far, I'll make it through to the end. I am trying my hardest to connect with you and understand the powers you blessed or gifted me with, and I'm hoping to grasp them further. I don't know, I feel so silly. I feel so stupid. Am I trying too much? I'm trying too hard. Listen to me now, I'm talking to myself. When I was just having fun and dancing and thinking about all of the dew we created and helping my allies, it just made me so happy. And that's where I felt the connection first. Maybe I need to just have fun and go with the flow. Alright. But Myliki, I need your wisdom, and I need the sage's advice of the you. I call for your energy, and then I'm going to make hand signals and cast You Wood's Wisdom and invoke Enhance ability on myself. It's normally the Owl's Wisdom, but I'm flavoring it as Elder You Wood.
Okay.
And give myself Enhance ability.
All right, so you go ahead and try to connect to Miley. Once again, feeling the nature aura coming out of your body, coming around you, begins to swirl, and it goes into your mind like a key unlocking a doorway. Something is opened up, and your mind is even broader. So what would you like to do?
Feeling the key being inserted in the lock and my mind's eye opening, I'm going to just sort of waltz down the dock and make my way towards the lake. And I'm just going to start humming a elven chant of celebration and revelry. And I'm going to sort of dance with myself. And I'm going to take a leap of faith and walk off of the dock and try and step onto the lake and continue my dance.
All right. Roll me a performance check at advantage. Dirty 20. All right. So, King, you go ahead, release all your inhibitions, and let loose so you can flow. Flow like water, like Kai said. Dancing down the small dock that leads to the edge of the water, you go ahead and do a spin, twisting into another one, moving your hands in the same motion, bending them, flowing like a river. Your foot leaves the dock, no fear at all. You continue moving, and you start to fall. And when you land onto the water, you continue to dance, not keeping any mind, keeping your eyes shut, and begin to glide across it. Like a skater dancing around a figure skating ring, you just spin and glide and move. You open up your eyes and just see where you are, keeping the motion, and you notice that you're walking on water, very much as if it's a solid surface. You continue this, smiling, rejoicing in the grace of Miley Nix. I need you to roll for me at advantage. All right, 17. All right. You are able to maintain this, and with your eyes open, you're feeling the movements. They're clicking with you. You kind of jump up, thrusting your bodies forward with your legs and your arms going back. You leap up, and it almost looks like you're flying like a butterfly gently. The water droplets coming off of your feet and causing a rainbow as you arc, landing again onto the middle of this lake now.
I say to myself, remember these motions, but have fun. I am having fun, and I have to tell myself, and I'm just going to now continue.
Okay. Roll me a perception check. You look down into the water, and you see probably maybe 100, 200 feet down there, a strange glowing blue light glow. You try to focus, and you can't tell exactly what it is, but it's fluttering. But you're already halfway to the door. What do?
I'm going to waltz like dance in a circle in the center of this lake while trying to feel the energy of the space around me and feel that orb and see or the glow and see if it pulls to me.
You continue to dance. Doesn't seem like it's making any effect. If anything, you want to go to it, but you're not sure. You're almost at the end. How long can you hold this? You don't know. What choice do you make?
I'm going to do a quick spin and twirl quickly and like leap up into the air like a graceful ballerina, and then spin and dive down into the lake and start swimming down towards it.
All right. So as you jump and spin into the air, like doing like a pirouette, and then make a diving motion go into the ground, this energy, this mist-like energy inside your body begins to crack open and bloom. Spreads out your body, flowing into your head. These words come into your mind, and you kind of whisper it to yourself.
Mist dance, aqua glide.
Plunging into the water, when you say that, you shoot like a torpedo, going, and as you push, similar to like how you've seen Duran push against the air, you are pushing against the water. Goof, goof, goof. Your foot, as every footstep you take, just shoots you forward and forward like a torpedo as you shoot down. But it's still quite some distance to get to this, and you can only hold your breath for so long.
I pump my legs and go forth with all my might and all my energy. This object is pulling me, and I must achieve it, and I will give it my all.
All right, roll for me. Constitution saving throw. Unnatural 20. The air, as it's taking you a while to get down here, you're deeper than you thought, but somehow you saw it. Somehow you felt it. You holding your breath, and you're pushing even further. And although you're starting to want air, you pass that mind thought passes over your mind, and you continue to push forward. Roll for me another wisdom check. Okay, a 9. At this point, you start to slow down. It looks like you were going double your normal speed in this water. You start to go at the normal speed now, knowing it, and your breath is starting to catch up to you. Now the thought is coming into your mind. Roll me another Constitution saving throw. An 8. You start to gag and try to hold in your mouth so you don't take in any water. Your body, your lungs, everything, your mind is telling you to take a breath, but you're just not going to. You take 9 points of damage as the burning feeling in your body it's almost overwhelming. You do make it to the bottom, and you go ahead and grab the now orb you see with the blue flame inside of, but the stress of holding your breath is too much, and you let go, and you take 16 points of damage as you and you start to inhale the water. But now having this, you feel your vagary, your energy, your very soul begin to fire up, and losing consciousness, you instinctively begin to start to push yourself up as you're halted faster and faster and faster. Doosh, 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 doosh. You finally breach the surface of the water, popping up before flying into the sky, rolling down on the other side, landing next to the door that opens up in front of you, and you are soaked onto the ground.
They said it wasn't going to be easy, but it was the right thing to do. And then I'll look for either a slot for this orb, or do I absorb it? I don't. Is there an obvious place or something to do with this object?
Not at all. All you feel is that you want to keep it close.
I will hold my orb and try and open the door.
Oh, the door opened already.
Oh, the door. Oh, sorry. I didn't hear the door opened. After catching my breath for a second, grasping this orb closely, holding it, I'll walk through with my head held high.
All right. And you walk through the mists, feeling accomplished, that you gained something. You disappear into it, and the door closes shut. Cal. Hi, Cal.
Hi.
So, Cal, you find yourself calling for your allies in the mist. No one responding, and as the rest of them, the mist dies down, and you see in the distance a threshold. Passing by that and going to the light, you enter another cavernous glass room. But what you see before you, which is just about 30 feet wide, before there's a glass wall on the left, glass crystal obsidian wall on the left and right, and before you see about a 50-foot path leading to a golden and black ornate door. Next to it, what you see in some type of flashing gray and blue-like light is an orb with the same color flame inside of it. As you step a little closer, the moment once you pass the threshold, you see a light shine down. You see 5 lights shine in 10 feet increments towards the wall, from top to bottom, and it's quick. It's voom voom. You're not sure what it does, but each of them are doing it at different time sets, and you just see voom 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 voom. Then it gets faster, boom 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 boom, and then it slows down again. And it seems to be a pattern that you can't really follow. But what do you do?
Lay your soul on the line and shatter it. Nyx, Kalemvar, give me strength. I've been running away from anything and everything. And I think now, blessed be Nyx, you're showing me that I need to run towards something. And it's just like an empty path in front of me, correct? Except for these lights coming down?
Yeah. Think of it as like there's small slices in the ceiling and in the ground, and every so often, basically for each step you take closer to it, you see it flash and then disappear, and then when you stop walking, it stops.
Okay.
And then it continues for every 10 feet. Like there's this light, and then there's about 5 foot or 10 foot path, and then it's the light again, and then another 10. So you have spots in between each one until you finally reach the end where the orb in the doorway is.
Okay. So I think what I want to do is I want to take what I've learned through trial and error, and also with what Kai has taught me and what I think I know is right based off of the engravings on the revolvers. And I want to grit my teeth and ready my arms into a fighting pose, and then begin making these steps and movements, knowing that the light kind of picks up as I'm moving, until I'm in a rhythm and a flow, and the light is constantly going through each of these 5 locations. And I kind of want to charge myself up as I'm doing it to try to launch forward and use the precision of a storm dancer, or what I think a storm dancer would be, to kind of launch myself as lightning type energy into the orb.
Okay. Roll for me a performance check at advantage. 21. All right.
The entire time, while I'm thinking about these steps that I'm taking and being accurate and precise where I place my feet and move my arms and swing the pistols around, or the revolvers around, and also use that anger, remembering that dwarf-like creature from before, and remembering what was really pushing me and making me run away from everything for so long, and transfer that into a forward momentum, knowing that, the writing was on the wall. I need to lay my soul on the line here, and this is everything that's made up my life before this, and I need to shatter through it.
So Cal, channeling this energy, channeling Kalimvor, you go into the steps and you make your movements, and you close your eyes after doing the spinning your gun into a sharp upward motion, and spinning around, ending in the right motion, and going through your dance that you created and combining the elements of Kai. Your body starts to swirl and form into that streak of light that you did before. Going towards this first beam of light, you feel the intense heat coming from it now, knowing that this is dangerous. And you make your first jolt towards it. I need you to roll me a dexterity check at advantage. Natural 20 for 23. All right.
Kill him.
So running up towards it, your body now changed into a streak of energy. Zoom, the light shines down, and you skirt underneath it before you feel the heat coming from it, but you land next on the other side on the safe area as this light shines down. And you see that it's slowly cutting away. It's not actually going into a deposit. It's just making its own hole as it slices down into the ground beneath it. And as you do so, coming to your mind, these words start to flow up as an electric spark comes from your internal soul, sparking up and shocking into your mind as your eyes begin to statically charge and discharge out.
Storm vagary activate. Bolero of lightning.
In doing so, you go ahead and you continue turning your body into a again. You try to jolt over the next obstacle that slides down. Roll me another dexterity check at advantage. 22. Nice. Once again, it slides down. A little bit of your hair slices off cleanly, but you crash down again, causing a big boom in the area, landing before. There's still about a couple more that you have to make before you make it, but you think you get the hang of it. Once again, roll me another dexterity check at advantage.
And I make these moves, and on this next one, I really drive one of my feet into the ground, propelling myself forward into this next one.
14. All right, you propel forward, and your concentration breaks a little bit, and you're not able to just twist it. The light hits your foot, but you're able to pull it back before it decapitates it. Nonetheless, a good chunk of your armor and skin slices off, and you feel that pain, and you take 14 points of slashing damage. You land back onto the other side. Your vagary seems to be deactivated. You have enough space to try it again, but you'll have to roll me another performance check. Or you can simply just try to jump across and hope for the best.
I'm going to try to activate it again.
All right.
And it was 14 damage?
Yes, 14 damage.
Okay, so that just knocks out all my temporary hit points.
All right. Natural 20. Dancing again, you clear your mind and continue the precision moves. Getting back, the lightning swirls around you, and you jump and jolt across again. Roll me your dexterity check at advantage. 13. So you make it across, but slice once again. You're hit. This time your arm starts to bleed. You take 19 points of slashing damage. You see the exit. The shard is right there.
I've come this far. I'm not going to drop it now.
One last dexterity check at advantage.
Here goes.
14. Okay. You make it across. You're still hit by it, but you just lead your body directly towards the orb. Going into it, you're struck, but and you connect into the orb. Everything goes dark for a moment until you shoot out of it. It shatters, and in your hand, you have the flame kind of bare, just floating there. It's not even hot to the touch, and it begins to swirl around your hand, and just kind of just stay there, swirling around.
I put my hand out in front of me, and I kind of twist my hand around, watching it kind of dance itself and swirl around me. And then, is the door open or is it still closed?
At this point, the door does open up as the lightning flame kind of dances around your arms and back towards your fingertips.
I'm going to go through the door.
All right, and you walk through the door, going into the mist, successfully completing your vagary trial. And now, Horatio, back to you. You're once again within the halls of where the strange contraption is, with its winding, twisting slide leading over there with the flame that seems to be going slower. Within the little bit of time you've taken to think about it, the ball has fallen once again. The flame has gone even dimmer. It doesn't look like it'll last much longer. And you hear the same sounds of the frost hitting the crystal structure as it slides to you and shatters into pieces.
Is there any way for me to get within 50 feet of the orb or of the flame that's dying?
Unfortunately, cannot.
Alright, so he would take out the staff, just light it on fire, and try to imitate the twirling that he was doing, and just kind of in his mind as he's doing this twirling, picture a shield around the flame, kind of not interrupting it, but not interrupting the ball if it's passing by, but instead of it being just an abjuration field, he wants the flames to come out of it again to kind of give life to this fire.
And so you're doing this around what fire? The fire that's in the ball?
The one that's dying.
To give life to it?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll me a performance check. An 8. You close your eyes and try to focus on performing the twirls. You twirl around your staff, ignite the flame, and try to connect with the flame over there. Afterwards, unfortunately, the ball drops down and starts to flow, and it catches onto the flame, and then the brazier, or the torch, the golden torch that was lit, goes out. You try to focus on it. Unfortunately, everything goes black, and you hear the familiar sounds until the ball rolls over and crashes onto the other side. And looking up, you see the flame is gone, and the ball has stopped coming. The door opens up ahead of you. What do you want to do?
And there's no more cycles happening, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so he just looks at everything and just says, well, it's not for me, and goes towards the door.
As you all continue walking through, the mist subsides, and you see another threshold. Passing through it, you are welcomed by blowing wind and ice, as well as a beautiful but scary-looking terrain of obsidian shards and stone passageways that winds up leading to what you can assume, looking around, is the summit. All of you immediately notice more people popping in, boom, 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 from around you as you see your allies all appear. Kai kind of runs over. Everyone, are you alright?
Oh, thank goodness. You're all here.
We did it.
Is everyone all right?
Yes, does anyone need any healing?
I'm a little hurt, but I'll be fine. Nothing that warrants stopping.
Just a couple scratches.
Kai says, I'm fine. You hear him now. At this point, when you look at him, there's charred marks on him as if he was hit by something hot or like electricity. You see a mark on his arm of like a tree branch branching out from his shoulder down to his chest, which is exposed now, and his hair is all furled as if it was through a wind tunnel. I'm fine. We're all good.
Kai, what did you go through?
Oh, this is your average trial. Well, I think I have a name. I think I have a name for my style. I think I'm gonna call it. And he says this, kind of smiling and putting out like a little bit of flame that's on his head, that's standing up from his hair. I think I'll call it Tempest style. That was crazy.
I think I might have unlocked something myself, and then I found this gem, and I'll hold up my orb.
I had one too. And she'll hold up hers.
Yes, I also have one of those. Duran pulls out his glowing ball.
I shattered mine, and I hold up my hand with the flame still swirling around it.
Huh. It's glad to see you guys all did well. I wasn't as lucky.
Oh no. There might be more to this trial. Don't give up hope just yet.
Correct, Horatio. You made it through the doors, and that means more than I think you know.
At this point, Cal, and you all notice the lightning flame that's been swirling around goes into you, and you just feel a warmth. If you look at your character sheets, you'll see that there's a question mark that is now turning into something else.
Ooh.
You immediately feel this warm energy from inside burst from where this flame went into, and you realize that shattering the crystal, this symbolization of your soul, has released fully your vagary.
Everyone, try and use your vagaries. And at the point where you think it's about to happen, use that energy and power it through the crystal.
All right. So with that, and just so you all have picked up your orbs and walked through, Cal was the only one who's physically shattered.
Minako looks at hers and she whispers something hateful to it, and then points towards it with her fingers and attempts to use her vagary once again.
All right, you point towards it and focusing your power of your vagary, slamming it down. If you instinctively throw it to the ground and it shatters, the light comes up and swirls around your hand, as well as similar to how it did to Cal before going into your body. It bursts out and a flood of information just goes into you, almost like it's been imprinted on your soul.
Duran is gonna get his ball. He's gonna kind of jump in the air and then kind of flip over and then slam it into the ground like touchdown style.
Duran, you do the same, jumping up into the air, slamming it down with an acrobatic grace. The white cloudy flame shoots up, going into your arm, and as you land, you don't land hard, but very softly as the wind picks up, floating up your clothing before landing. Before floating back down to your side, and a flood of information comes in as a burst from your soul happens.
Seeing my allies shattering their orbs in various fashion, I do a similar maneuver where instead of crashing or smashing it, though, knowing that mine has to do its flow and grace, I sort of hold it and, swirl it around like a gem in my fingers or in my hand. And after a moment of spinning with it, I'll hold it up and then gracefully drop it so that way it lands directly at my feet.
Can you dance around flowing with it? It glides over your fingers, rolling from your thumb to your pinky, going on to the next hand until you slam it down. The blue flame flies up and curls around your legs before entering into your stomach and bursting. All the information floods into you. Kai does the same, jolting up into the air and kind of stepping on the air, and before striking down like lightning, his two vagaries crash on and swirl together, creating a strange light blue gray flame where it shoots into him. And the winds pick up, and you all just and you hear as lightning strikes into the air, and he stands up, jolting with energy where air is blowing all around him. It looks like an actual maelstrom is formed around him until it dies down. Wow. And he looks at all of you. All that's left is the summit then. Over there. And he points up and you very well see all the clouds and the wind and the unclarity that's around you dies off about 100 feet up this hill leading to the top of the mountain. Let's see what the summit has. Hopefully a way down. And he begins walking off towards the middle.
Well, obviously I'll follow. I think we all.
Yes, we follow.
All right. So as you all start to make your way over there, you feel an earthquake beneath your feet. The mountain begins to shake and shiver. Kai holds steady. And all of you kind of look shocked and shaken as you see the black rocks that's formed at the summit here begin to shoot up. Shoo, 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 shoo. They all shoot up into the sky above before connecting. Goof, 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 goof. And you hear like a bird-like screech coming from the sky, and eventually bursting from this formation of rocks, you see a crystalline phoenix-like bird flying up there. This black phoenix looks down at you with its cold black eyes. That just melds in with the obsidian that it's made out of, and it looks towards you, holding its head back. It releases a blast of crystals and gems shooting at all of you. I'm gonna need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, no. I'm within 10 of Cal.
You're all within 10 of Cal. You're all within walk next to each other. You just haven't. So you all can add that +4.
Just need to take a moment and say how thankful I am for these extra +4 to all saves and the extra temporary hit points and shit.
Yeah, Aura of Protection's pretty great.
All right, so we have a 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 from Anako, 22 from King, 19 from Cal, 27 from Horatio, and 24 from Duran. So you all brilliantly pass. You jump to the side, just barely missing getting hit by these storm of crystal shards coming down. And then you see humongous bird creature flying down towards you. Kai looks back. Oh, everyone, prepare yourselves. And I'll need you all to roll initiative next week.
Ooh.
This is where we will end tonight's session.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah.
Good session, guys.